Hey, Mom. Oh yeah, Joey just tripped and face planted in the driveway. I was just cleaning him up, doing the mom thing. Oh, he's fine now, resting on the couch with an ice pack. Ice packs and Band-Aids have healing powers, He'll be fine. So, how I wanted to make some new mom friends? I thought that group at church would be a good place to start. Oh, it's coming up later this week, and I'm kind of nervous. You know how hard it can be to break into a new group? Plus, I feel so awkward making small talk. Yeah, easy for you to say, Mom. You're so much more of a people person than I am. I can just imagine it now. I, like usual, will be running late. So when I get there, the other moms will already be broken into a huge conversation circle. And you know how hard it can be to break into a conversation circle that's already going? Maybe, Mom, but even if they do welcome me into that circle, you know how awkward I am at making conversations? By the time I finally figure out what they're talking about, they'll be talking about something I know nothing about, like kids' soccer teams, and I'll end up blurring out random pieces of information like, oh yeah, my neighbor's stepnephew's on that team, which will cause the conversation to come to a complete halt, and I will wish I had the powers of invisibility. Oh, you're probably right, but I'm still nervous. I'll let you know how it goes. Well, anyways, we're running a little late today. Joey has that.
I'm so glad that you guys are with us today, and I'm glad that we can be together for the next few weeks to talk about Better Together, and I'm grateful that for the conversation we're going to eventually have. I want to also welcome you, and I want to thank you for joining us. I want you to know that the five of us are just moms. There's no actors here. There's nobody with major behind the camera experience, but we're just gonna have a conversation that hopefully will start here, and then you'll take further in maybe your groups or with your friends. So since we're gonna be together, I really wanna take just a little bit of time to get to know each other. So if we can just share name, age of kids, and maybe one or two sentences that kind of describes where you are with friendships, with mom friendships. Sunita, you want to start?
My name is Sunita. I have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4, and my mom friendships have broadened. As I've become a mom, it's allowed me the opportunity to meet a lot of ladies that I probably wouldn't have met prior to becoming a mom.
My name is Christine. I have 4 children, ages 20, 17, 16, and 9. How I would describe my mom friendship journey would be, so I grew up in Trinidad, and I had a wonderful core group of friends there, and it was just wonderful until I came up here, and there was a cultural barrier that took me 10 years to even begin a friendship, and it was a very lonely time, but God is faithful and brought these wonderful women into my life, and they've been my core group for the past 11 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But it took you 10 years to
10
get there.
years. It was very lonely.
Was there not just a cultural barrier, was there a language barrier at all?
No, it was just, just trying to get past that superficial part of friendship, to build something that's lasting, and you can't do that. I lived in Bloomington, and I went to church in Mackinac, so you can't live that far and try to get in. It took me getting involved in my church and reaching out. And I remember that one talk that you had that was really key for me is, here I am, come see me, or are you, there you are,
Right.
How are you,
Right.
person. And that was the key moment for me in my friendship journey.
Gotcha.
Just reaching out to others.
That's cool. Good.
Well, my name is Anne, and I have 2 children, ages 4 and 6. And I am an introvert by nature, and so I have a core group of close friends, a few friends that are really close, and then several on the outside, but I have a smaller group of core friends.
My name is Jill, and my kids range from 31 to 19, and Annie is one of my 5. And I am in a different season of motherhood because I'm in the empty nest, almost empty nest season, where you still need friendships, you still need a mommy tribe, but you have to find it in different ways, because I'm not sitting in the bleachers with people anymore, and I'm not having play groups. And so I'm in a little bit of a different season and learning how to navigate that.
I'm Beth. I have a 2.5-year-old. His name is Wesley. And with my friendships, I would say I have 2 really close friends who I kind of do, motherhood with. But actually what you were saying kind of struck me, because I'm from here. I have this community that I kind of was raised in, and I don't do a very good job of looking out of what is just comfortable for me. And so that was really good for me, because I'm going to start looking more and stop being so comfortable in my own little, I'm good, I got my girls. And because there's plenty of people who aren't from here, they don't have that already built in, and so it's important for me to see my part in that.
Okay, so one of the things I share in the book is that I was kind of a latecomer to girl friendships. I found them to be complicated, to be really honest with you, and so it took me a while to really kind of learn to navigate that. So what kind of an experience did you have growing up? I mean, have you had like a BFF since first grade, and you still are BFFs? So maybe it was similar to me, where you didn't have a lot of female friendships. What's that been like for you guys?
Growing up, I had a few friends, and we've stayed pretty good friends throughout the years. We still keep in touch, but it echoes my season of life here. It was just a handful of good friends that I grew up with.
It's so funny, because one of the things we'll talk about in a future chapter is friendships and personalities. And I remember, so my husband is an extrovert, I'm an introvert. And so my husband has lots of friends, lots and lots of friends. And I've always had only like 1, 2, 3 close friends, and that's it. And he used to be somewhat critical of that, like, you need to widen your circle. And I remember one time I was listening to a video or an audio, like a podcast, and they were talking about friendships and personalities. And he and I were listening together, and this person said, that introverts have just a few close friends. And I remember kind of punching him in the arm and going, see, there's nothing wrong with me. That's the way I'm wired. I'm an introvert. I'm just going to have a few close friends. So we'll get more into that in the future, but I just think that's important for us to remember. So, yeah. Oftentimes, friendships change as motherhood changes. And some of you guys are early in the motherhood journey. Some of you are a little further along. Have you experienced that change at all? Like, that was a hard thing for me, because I'm a really loyal person. So I'm kind of like, if we're going to be friends, we're going to be friends for life, And that doesn't always work out, because maybe somebody moves, or I don't know, the kids aren't going to the same school anymore, and so the things that were bringing you together don't, so I struggled with that. I thought maybe there was something wrong with that. So what about you guys? What have you experienced with friendship changing as motherhood changes?
Well, maybe for me, I guess I really noticed the change between my friends who have children or who are not married yet, versus my friends who are, married with children.
Right.
I found I've had a really hard time staying close. So we'll sometimes spend time together, the friends who aren't married or don't have children yet. But we have a hard time talking about real things, because so much of my life is just, my family. And so, things we used to talk about, they're not as relevant to me anymore. So it's been really hard to stay connected, I would say, to those friendships, which is sad. I actually feel a loss, in those relationships. But it's, even when we try to connect, it's almost like we can't, because maybe I've changed so much that it's just, I'm not sure if it's how to make that work,
Right. I think that's a pretty normal feeling. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, I know you and I were talking the other day about some of the friendships you have are with non-moms, and what you like about that. What was it that you were
Well, I
talking
think
about?
they're a very valuable part of our mom tribe, even though they don't have children. One of the things that I found with the women who don't have children is that they really bring out in me more of the woman that God has created me to be instead of just mom. And so they allow me the opportunity to not be mom 24/7. And so I think that's been a really valuable piece in my mom journey. Is it makes me a better mom because I am friends with these women who don't have children or who aren't married yet. And so I think that's been a valuable piece of my mom journey.
And it reminds you that you're not just a mom, you're a sister, you're a friend, you're all these other people. And so being a mom is not an identity, it's not your identity, it's you're a woman and you have other relationships that needs to be maintained as well.
And I think that's even more important in the season of life I'm in because everything has centered around having kids and doing things with kids. But then as your children grow and have a life of their own, you still have to have a life of your own, And that's hard for a lot of us that have poured our soul into raising our family. And then a lot of women do struggle with that. Like, they don't need me anymore. What's my value? And so having, I think friendship, having other women that understand that, I think is important because as motherhood changes, you need to be with other women who are experiencing those changes as well. So I think that's important. That's good.
In the book, we talk about keeping your circle broken. And so this idea that as you have a group of friends, it's important to keep that circle broken so that we are welcoming to others. What do you guys think about that idea of keeping the circle broken?
I'm on board with that. I just think that, my girlfriends and I, on Sunday morning at church, we're not hanging out together. This is our time to reach out to other women and minister. We'll have our girlfriend time, our girls' night out, so to go out and just hang out and enjoy each other. But on Sunday, it's our time to reach out to others, and so we just free each other to go do that. I don't think a lot of people know that we're best friends.
So have you guys actually talked about that, or do you think that's just what's happened?
We've talked about it.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
on Sunday
neat.
morning, I'm freeing you to do whatever, to talk to whomever you want to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
I
have
think
to
that's
be-
rare that we talk about it, but I think it's really important too. I think that's great that you guys have actually verbalized it.
And you've been proactive about that. Like
Yes.
that's been purposeful.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
that's really good.
Right. Well, and you were just talking about keeping the circle broken with your friendships. I mean, you didn't say those words, but that's what you just described earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the main point is that you have to be intentional about it, that it doesn't just happen because, I have not been intentional about it. I've been just like, I have my people and we're fine and, I get what I need from them and we're good. And to not even think about the fact that there's other people who I don't know, who I'm actually actively keeping out of my life and my circle by keeping my circle not broken, and that not only am I losing out on friendships, but I'm keeping people from having those friendships that they need too. And so I guess really I just need to be focused on it and to not allow myself to just be complacent in what I currently have, but to seek out new friendships and to make it a goal and an intention that I'm working towards.
When I was in high school, my youth pastor, we would break up into our small groups, and he asked us to put an extra chair in the circle along with us when we met, and that we were always to be praying that that chair would be filled. And to me, this day, I've carried that on with me. And I think it's a great thing to even utilize in moms groups, to have an intentional, even a physical chair sitting there, reminding us that there's going to be another person that will be joining us.
And that helps us to be more others focused.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great practical way to really apply that. This has been a great discussion. I am so thankful for it, and I'm looking forward to what we can learn from each other. So thank you for sharing honestly. One of the things I want to do each week is I want us to share a mom tip. Just something simple. So I want you to be thinking about a tip that you could share. So maybe something you do, something you've seen that people do, and you always want to try it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to share it, and then I'm going to make myself do it this week. But mine is how to clean your ceiling fans with a pillowcase. I know that sounds funny, but what you do, I don't know about you guys, but my ceiling fans are just always covered with dust, and then you go to dust them, and the dust all falls down. It drives me nuts, and plus I have terrible allergies, so then I'm sneezing, and so anyway, you simply take the pillowcase, you put it over the blade, and then you pull on both sides and just pull all the dust off the top and the bottom at the same time. It goes into the pillowcase.
Whoa.
I know, it's great. You do all your blades, you do all your fans, and then you go outside, turn the pillowcase inside out, shake it out, throw it in the laundry. So
Good. Thank you.
it's so easy.
That's a great tip. Thanks, Mom.
So there you go.
Thank you.
Well, our time has flown by already, and thank you guys so much for your discussion. And just wanted to remind you guys this week to be praying for your friendships and to drop a note to a friend who you might need to let her know that you're thinking about her this week.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for joining us as well. We hope that we've just gotten the discussion started and that you'll continue it. And also want to remind you, keep your circle broken.